Looking forward then, let's think about a little bit about Adare. We're going to wrap up just by doing a little bit of dreaming about who we think the next Ryder Cup captains will be. Do
Yeah.
you think they ask Luke to go again? And who else on the US team, who else in the US world of golf
Yeah.
can take captaincy now that they're on the back of 2 losses?
Like, oddly enough, I think there could be an argument to say that Keegan Bradley might go again.
Interesting.
I don't think he will. But once you start thinking about who else will take the captaincy, for me, Tiger's the obvious one, I suppose, in some respects. Because in Tiger, what they could have, and we said this with Donald, Tiger, it looks like finally, obviously, you can never make predictions about this guy because he is, in my opinion, the GOAT. His playing days are done. Like he's gonna turn up at Masters of Two if he can manage to get around the 18, and he's gonna play. But we're not gonna see him out at all. Like that's kind of done for him now. So you're looking at Tiger in his career, what he's gonna do. He's still young enough that if he was given the captaincy in Ireland and they won, they could give it him again. And they could give it him again. So I think for me, Tiger's the obvious choice. How good as a captain that he would be, I don't know. I think he would be strong enough from a personality standpoint, and obviously standing in the game, to make some real massive changes if he wanted to.
Yeah. How are they going to say no to him? It's Tiger Woods.
Exactly, it's Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
So that is a possibility. I think Phil Mickelson's the other choice there, which I don't know. I think Phil's the kind of guy who his approach to that captaincy would be very thorough. Like you imagine him looking into, like Donald, like the minutest of details.
Yeah.
There's obviously a disconnect there between what's been going on with Liv, what's been going on with the Ryder Cup. It feels like those wounds have healed a little bit. It feels like we're at a stage where we're ready to move on. But
we're over it.
Yeah, it feels like everything about that is kind of cool to the point where it's not seen as this massive dividing factor anymore. Because ultimately, certainly for the European side, Hatton got in, but Rahm had to be a captain's pick.
Correct.
So that, if Rahm was still playing on the PGA Tour, he would be in automatically, you would think. Like, he is still one of the best players in the world. So that kind of conundrum is going to continue for the next few years unless Liv get world ranking points or unless some kind of deal happens between the tours and Liv. But yeah, I think Tiger. I think Tiger would be the obvious choice for me. I think he's ready for it as well.
And on the European side, do you think they give Donald another go?
I'm not sure he would want to.
I even think that the players are aware that it has taken a toll on him.
But there's
because in the press conference afterwards, after Rome, all they were talking about was how Luke Donald was the man to lead them forward.
Yeah.
Clearly, he has said something, or that he said that it basically was. It's a hard job to do. You got a lot of people on your back. You got to deal with a lot of different companies, different agencies, different players, different managers, all that kind of stuff. It's a hard job to do, and I think he probably has said that he feels like was his last go at it. But if you're on a winning run, do you change one of the biggest roles in the European team?
But also for Donald, very much, he won in Rome, highly successful Ryder Cup, very, very famous victory, but he's just topped that with a win in New York. What, from a personal standpoint, as far as motivation is concerned, what would be the benefit for him personally to captain again in Ireland? Obviously, that for me, I think I honestly think Adare Manor in Ireland is going to be potentially the best Ryder Cup that we've ever had. I think there's just something about it in my head, that the way the course is, the setting, obviously the Irish fans. I think it's going to be magic. I really, really do. And it must be an appealing prospect. But he's just killed the dragon. He's done it. He's done the toughest thing. So what's the motivation for him to go again? And ultimately on the European side, we've got some absolute legendary players who could take the position, who would want to take the position.
Yeah.
There is a slight issue as far as Liv,
Yeah.
because the European Tour and Liv, that disconnect and that parting was really possibly worse than the PGA Tour one.
Yeah.
So, for those bridges to be healed, and, if players like Poulter, for example. Now, I'm not saying that Poulter would do as good a job as Luke. I'm not sure. But if you're looking for somebody who really embodies the Ryder Cup, somebody who would give everything to that role, Poulter is really an obvious choice. I mean, you've got players who are probably at the end of their Ryder Cup career. This might be Justin's last.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. Like, he's an ultimate professional. He's still in fantastic shape and his game's still great. But it might be his last Ryder Cup. Like, he could be the one to say, okay, we're going to give this to you now. Maybe you could go twice. Westwood, Sergio. I mean, Sergio, bear in mind, the Ryder Cup is what's going to be 4 years when it's in Spain? Like, you would look at that and say, well, Sergio, this could be yours.
Yeah.
You could bring back Friley, you could bring back McGinley. Imagine him coming back and doing it.
In Ireland, with Shane and Rory right at the front of the right at the front of the order.
There's lots of permutations. I would say McGinley in Ireland would be. I think that would be a good emotional choice, but also from a captaincy standpoint, he obviously did an amazing job when he was captain.
Mm-hmm.
He really brought that stats-based approach. So, I think on the European side, I actually think we've got more options, but I think we've probably got more politics to actually steer around as well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a difficult transition, a difficult decision, whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
Especially if this is something that we're going to start doing with multiple year captains. Because bear in mind, it's pretty odd in the modern era to have like Luke do 2 Ryder Cups in a row, and even after Rome, when it was like announced, I thought that's a bit odd. But no one really batted an eyelid.
Yeah, it was because we won convincingly in Rome.
And I was like,
if it had been close, then it would have been okay.
Yeah. I was like, is this a thing now? Is this something that we're doing? I'm nothing against it, but there's certainly the mentality from former years was, if you do your time, you play in multiple Ryder Cups, you become a successful Ryder Cup player, eventually you're going to get the opportunity to give it a go. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't seem to be the approach anymore,
Well, maybe they just had to add in, and you stay playing on the European Tour on a regular basis and don't go and take the money on Liv.
I think there's a switch which has happened between, okay, you're a legendary European player, eventually you're going to be the Ryder Cup captain. Mm-hmm. I think maybe, to be honest, something like the Faldo captaincy.
Yeah.
Which, nothing against Faldo. Obviously a legend of the game in Europe, but his captaincy wasn't really that well received by the players, and I don't think he was the right fit for that job. And I think maybe the European Tour are looking at things now and saying, okay, you're a legendary player, whoever you are.
Yeah.
Are you going to be the best captain?
Yeah, you've got to buy into the already running European way of doing things. And if you, like Faldo's approach was that he wasn't going to really listen to what he was being told by the McGinleys and the people who were doing the research, he was like, I'm sure I'll work it out, and it backfired on him. So the person that they pick next, particularly for Adare, if it isn't Luke Donald going again, needs to be someone who buys into the template, who buys into the way of doing things, who buys into being as prepared as possible. And I think when it comes to Ryder Cup captains, it also has to, the people who have done it best historically have also not been the best golfers on the planet for an extended period of time. Because the problem is, it's why Tom Watson wasn't a good Ryder Cup captain, was because he was so good at golf, it came to him so naturally, that he didn't understand why his players couldn't do all the things that he could do.
I disagree. I thought Watson was all right. I think he got thrown under the bus.
Well, he did, because he made some very strange decisions, because he just assumed that his players would go out and play as well as They always did.
Yeah. I think he was thrown under the bus a little bit, mostly by Phil Mickelson. And would you want a captain who'd previously thrown another captain under a bus?
Well, Phil Mickelson had tweeted recently that he doesn't see himself ever being a Ryder Cup captain.
I think that's because of the live position, though.
Potentially.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think would he make a good captain? I would say that
He's definitely polarizing.
I would say that the captaincy position, to kind of close out, the captaincy position from a European standpoint has never been so tempting. Whereas I would say taking on the American captaincy right now, that's a big job. And it's going to come with a lot of pressure because, like, I think it's 9 out of the last 11 now, Ryder Cups, the Europe have won.
Yeah.
Or is it 9 out of 15? It's a pretty overwhelming amount.
Yeah, so the last 11, we have only lost 3.
Yeah.
Pretty damning stats, really. The only ones we lost, Valhalla, Hazeltine, and Whistling Straits.
Yeah, so what's that? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So out of the last 13, it's 10 out of the last 13, is it? Jeez. So, you know, that type of record, that's dominating. That really is like Europe absolutely smashing the States on a pretty regular basis.
Mm-hmm. Someone's got to come in, and that person that comes in is going to have to change a lot.
Yeah, they're going to have to change a lot, and they're going to have to, you know, accept the responsibilities for making those changes. Because I think the hardest thing to do would be come in to make these whole vast changes to really alter how the American side is run on a fundamental level. And the chances are, because we know home Ryder Cups generally go the way of the home team, might not win. So they might change everything, might go to Ireland, they might get hammered again. So to stick with a new format after that, that'd be really, really difficult.
That's the real challenge.
Yeah. So they might give it to someone in Ireland who they don't think is going to win.
Yeah, just sacrifice them to the Lowry gods. Like, take this.
Have a go. See what happens.